Hello, all of my friends all across. I used to say all across the country, but now obviously EXP is all over the world. So I don't know where you guys are all patching in from, but I do want to start off by sharing with you that I personally have a background in real estate, just like you guys. I'm not a Brian Colhane or a Glenn Sanford's type of a shareholder in EXP. But I have about $3 million worth of EXP stock. So I am a believer, a big believer in what you guys are doing. I am a big cheerleader. That's why I said to Brian when we talked last week, I said, hey, I'd be happy to jump on and do a short training to give some insights and some tips to help you all to develop your rev share organizations bigger and faster. So ready? Just say I'm ready in the chat. Get me excited, give me some energy. I'm up here at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, right in that midday slump slot, and it's cool and rainy here in Virginia. So give me some energy. I really appreciate that. Let me go ahead and do a screen share so I can show you all some of this information as we get going here. Look, like I said, I've got a background like you. My background was in real estate. This is a picture of me on the cover of the Washington Business Journal real estate section many years ago, back when I had hair and we used to wear double-breasted suits, okay? So obviously it's a few years back. I wanted to level up my life. I wanted to make more money. I wanted more freedom. I wanted to just have a much more fulfilling lifestyle. And so what did I learn to do? I learned how to find mentors. I learned how to find the people who had what I wanted and get around them as much as I could. So I started spending time with people like Robert and Kim Kiyosaki. Robert Kiyosaki wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Matter of fact, I had a billionaire, Paul J. Meyer, before he passed away. I spent 10 years with Paul J. Meyer. Look, sometimes people are like, when I become really successful, one day I'm going to own a condo in the Cayman Islands. Well, Paul Meyer, when he passed away, he owned 352 properties in the Cayman Islands. That's just a little bit of his accomplishments. So I got a chance to learn from people like that. But also, I started to become an entrepreneur. So I was not just in real estate, but I became an entrepreneur as well. And I have hit some home runs, and I've made a lot of money. And what I really decided to do along the way is, I heard the advice one day, the more people you help get what they want, you'll get all that you want. You probably heard Zig Ziglar say that kind of thing before. And so now I've written not 3, but now 4 books that have all become bestsellers on wealth building and entrepreneurship. Matter of fact, a few years back, Grant Cardone, I know you guys are all friends with Grant. If you actually follow Brian, then you follow Grant, right? Obviously, being able to share on Grant's show some of this information with his audience as well has been a lot of fun. But let me start off. And today is going to be a lot of philosophical and tactical content for you all. Okay. So again, like Matthew said, definitely really lean into this today, because I believe in the next 30 minutes, I can share with you things that will actually give you an increased result. Now, what did Robert Kiyosaki teach in his cash flow quadrant that he writes about in his books? Why should you focus 10 times more than you even are right now on growing your EXP business? Well, I believe the reason why is because you want to change where you live. What do you mean change where you live? Well, Robert Kiyosaki says there's 4 quadrants, and everybody lives in one of these quadrants. You're either an E, a S, a B, or an I. The E, the employee. You work for somebody else. You trade your time for money. You've got a job. Are you going to find freedom at a job? Are you going to have time freedom? No, because you have to keep on trading your time for money. So some people say, well, that means I've got to stop being an employee. I want to be self-employed. Let me get into the S quadrant. But a lot of times people get into the S quadrant. Now they're self-employed working for themselves. They still have a boss. It's their calendar. If they don't show up to work, they still don't get paid. I don't care if you're a real estate agent or you're a massage therapist or you're an attorney billing hours, or you're a doctor performing surgeries at $20,000 per surgery. If you don't work, you don't get paid. So are you going to find real wealth and freedom in the E or the S quadrant? Nope. Very rare that you do. So I wanted to get into the B quadrant, top right. And a B quadrant is where you've got a business that is employing leverage, where you're getting paid on other people's efforts. Who makes more money, the insurance agent or the broker? The realtor or the broker? You or your boss? So that's the beauty of EXP. You're not just a salesperson. You can actually develop a marketing organization like a broker without actually technically being a broker and get paid when other people are selling houses. How amazing is that? Now, just because you decided to transfer your license to EXP does not make you a B quadrant business owner yet. You're still self-employed. If you're a one-man band, if you don't show up and sell houses, you still don't get paid. To become a B quadrant business owner, you have to have a rev share downline growing that is producing sales and that you're getting paid on. And then once you've got B quadrant cash flow coming in passively, guess what you get to do now? You also get to put your other foot into the I quadrant, an investor, where you got your money making you money. Or like Kevin O'Leary on Shark Tank always says, I want to send my money out into the world to have it come back with friends. So that's the goal here, is to get you into the B and the I quadrant. So just to see who's actually paying attention and not playing Candy Crush on their other device, in the chat right now, tell me which quadrant or quadrants that you want to be living in, E, S, B, or I. I'd love to see it. Now, thanks for responding, guys. I wrote my latest book that came out in 2019, just before COVID. Untapped Freedom Manifesto. Become an entrepreneur to escape the grind and find happiness and freedom and happiness. Look at that guy on the treadmill on the cover of the book. Have you ever felt like that? Now, I can tell you, because my background in real estate, I know what it's like to be hustling my butt off 7 days a week, having no time for friends, no time for family, because I wanted to make a lot of money as a realtor. So you have to hustle. I know what it's like to put my fork down at the dinner table to take a call to put out a fire so I wouldn't lose a deal. Wave at me if you guys have ever, feel like that, right? Anybody? So why EXP? Well, guess what? EXP allows you to get the rev share, the leverage, to be able to actually get paid when you're no longer having to hustle 7 days a week. And I'm a big fan of working hard for a season. I used to say I'm ambitiously lazy. I'm willing to work my ass off. I'm willing to work my butt off for a handful of years so I can sit around later and do nothing. And because I've watched it, I see some of my friends from EXP living in Puerto Rico, living the life, making crazy money. And they're on jet skis and they're on mopeds and they're hanging out, with their family and their kids. And it's awesome. I love seeing it. So there is light at the end of the tunnel. But the reason why I had to write Untapped is because most people, even people in EXP, still don't understand. There's a lot of EXP agents that are just still agents, just salespeople. They have not made the mental shift into treating this business like a business that will provide leveraged passive income so they can have ultimate freedom. Untapped, the premise of this book, the only way to have real-time freedom is to be financially free. You're not going to get that as just a regular real estate agent. How many wealthy real estate agents do you know that built wealth just by selling houses themselves? I've been around, my dad built one of the largest real estate companies on the East Coast back in the 70s, 35 offices, thousands of agents, sold it to Merrill Lynch in 1981. I watched it. I know the game. None of his agents became wealthy. The broker, he got really wealthy, but the agents were out there on the sales treadmill. So again, you transferred EXP for probably one of many reasons, but I want you to understand the biggest reason why you should be so profoundly excited is that you get to recruit and get rev share, and you can build your wealth that way. Can I get an amen from the congregation? Now, look, an average person can recruit a big team and get wealthy by leveraging a system and third party. I don't want that to get lost on you, because some of you, maybe you haven't recruited anybody yet. Maybe you think, well, I'm not a Brian Culhane. I'm not a Haas Pratt. I'm not a whoever. Like, Brent Gove or Jay Kinder or whoever. You start naming off these names, Dan Beer, and all these people building thousands of people in the rev share teams. I'm not one of them. Well, not yet. Not yet. Well, but yeah, but I don't speak like them. I don't have the contacts. Like, it doesn't matter, because the great equalizer is that if you have a system that works and you use third party, it's not even about you. Go recruit people that are way better than you and override all these people that are way better than you. Does that excite you? I've made $25 million personally in my network marketing business with Legal Shield. You know how I did it? I just found amazing people in a network marketing. By the way, EXP is network marketing. Any company, any business model where you can recruit others to build a marketing team, that's network marketing. The beauty of it is, you know, anybody who's really, really, really successful, they're just average people or ordinary people who are standing on the shoulders of a lot of incredible people. And so, look, here's the thing. Everybody wants the lifestyle, right? You see Grant and Elena flying around in their jet, going down to their property with the big palm trees they just installed, and flying around, buying big, you know, investment real estate and so forth. Everybody wants the results. Everybody wants the lifestyle. So let's reverse engineer what it is that you actually want. When was the last time you actually sat down, not just in passing thinking about something, but when did you actually sit down, pad and pen, and actually design what you want for your life? Have you ever done it? I've coached, well, heck, I mean, over the year, I mean, hundreds of thousands of people, maybe a million people. I've coached so many people. And I've asked people how many people have done it. Less than 2% have ever actually designed what they want. Everybody's like, why? Here's my why. Here's what I really want. But like, visualize it, crystallizing your thinking, making it vivid in your, so look, if whatever your lifestyle you want, it requires results to get it. How do you get the results? You have to do the right activity. How do you get yourself to do the right activity? You have to have the right attitude. Attitude comes before the results. Well, how do you get the right attitude? It comes down to your mindset. And the foundation of your mindset comes from your philosophy. What are your personal philosophies? Is your philosophy that nobody can do it as well as me, so therefore I always have to do everything myself? Is that a good philosophy? I don't know. For somebody, it might work for them, but it probably won't give them the lifestyle that they want. Because if you can't delegate, if you can't teach others and replace yourself, then you're probably not going to get amazing results and lifestyle. So if you've got the right philosophies, which gives you the mindset that's going to lead to the attitude that's going to drive your day-to-day activities, the results, as long as you do the right activities consistently over an extended period of time. Let me repeat that. I want to encourage you to write this one down. Listen today, by the way, not just as a student. Listen as a teacher. Because if you can, I can teach you all how to do certain things, and you can make some really good money. But if you listen as a teacher, teach others this information, you can make a whole lot more money and take it one step further. If you can teach others how to teach this information, that's where you become legendary. That's how the people in EXP that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in income, that's what they figured out. So this stuff I want you guys to really pay attention to. The magic happens in network marketing when you get a lot of people doing a few simple things consistently over an extended period of time with a good attitude. I'm going to repeat it so you can write it down. The magic happens when you get a large number of people doing a few simple things consistently over an extended period of time with a good attitude. The team I've developed has been paid over $540 million in commissions in their pockets. How did that happen? We got a bunch of people doing a few simple things consistently over an extended period of time with a good attitude. Now, why do I say with a good attitude? Because if you're doing some things consistently with a bad attitude, you're not going to get any results and you're going to be exiting the game, right? So let's start with why. If you have not read Start With Why, a great book by Simon Sinek, I would encourage you guys to read that book. I think it'll really be profound for you. What is your why for wanting to succeed and build a great team in EXP? What is your why? And you can't just say, oh, I want to make 20 grand a month. Okay, why? Well, because I want to get ahead financially. And I need to make that kind of money to have enough money to pay the bills and have money left over to put away. Okay, why? Well, because one day I don't want to be working, and my wife and I, or my spouse and I, we want to be traveling the world, or we've got kids or grandkids that we want to be spending time with, or we've got this foundation that we want to create. Okay, why is that important to you? Peel back the layers of the onion and really figure out what your why is. Now, I was more motivated than most people in my company, Legal Shield. And I didn't use the altruistic why, like, oh, when I have a wife and kids, I want to be able to have time freedom to spend with them. Yeah, I wanted that too. Yes. But let me tell you the real why that motivated me to work my butt off every single day building my business. I was 28. I was single, no wife, no kids when I got started. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm not Brad Pitt. So I'm not a bad looking guy, but I'm certainly not the guy that walked into a bar and all the girls flocked to me. It never happened, ever. So for me, what motivated me is I wanted to be very successful in business. I wanted to make a lot of money so that I could go buy a Ferrari convertible. So when I went out on a Friday night, I wanted to be able to pull it up and park right in front. And when the girls are walking in, I want to be able to walk in at the same time as them so they see me. And when I go in and I walk over to somebody, say, hey, can I buy you a drink? Instead of the usual, nope, not interested. I wanted them to say, sure, because they saw that I was a success. Now, is that shallow? Heck yeah, it is shallow. I admit it's shallow, but it was my truth. I didn't tell anybody. I'm 51 years old, happily married, 3 kids. So I'm not ashamed to tell people what was my why for making the phone calls, for building my business, because I wanted that Ferrari so that I would get that kind of respect. Everybody wants 2 things in life, love and respect. And I figured, hey, a Ferrari will help me get it, right? So that was my why. Figure out your why. Yours probably won't be the same as mine, but it won't be, well, I just want to be financially comfortable, or I just want to make a bunch of money. What is the real why? So when you've got a sore throat, you still pick up the phone and make that phone call. When it's raining out, you still go to the meeting instead of trying to postpone it because you're driven. Now, what are your priorities? What are your priorities? Is your EXP business a serious priority? Or is it just, well, I'll get to it when I get to it because I've got all this other stuff going on in my life? If everything else seems to trump what you're trying to do here with EXP, then you're just not going to succeed because the success is just not a big enough priority. It doesn't have to come before your faith or your family, but it needs to rank really high up there. Now, commitment. My friend wrote a book, Running with Finishers. He's somebody I actually coached in my business. And I love his title because it's so easy to start anything, but hardly anybody finishes what they start. You saw the EXP model. You said, this is my ticket. I can go out and sell houses like I've always sold houses, but I can go build a rev share team and get freedom. Well, I would say make the commitment. You know what success is? This is an easy one to take a note on. Success is a decision followed by daily choices. That's something you might want to write down, and you can teach that to your team. And when I say write it down so you can teach it to your team, we're in a people attraction business. Why would anybody join you and be on your team if you have nothing to teach them? If you can't bring any value to somebody, they're not going to join you. Even if they love legal, if they really want to get into EXP, they'll go find somebody else to join under, because people want mentors. They want to be led by leaders. So that's why you take these notes and you say these things often so you sound really smart, right? Success is a decision followed by daily choices. The word decide sounds like suicide, homicide, pesticide. Decide means to kill something, kill the alternative. So when you decide you're going to be a big success in EXP, that means that there is no alternative. You're killing the alternative. There is no failure. You've decided that you're going to succeed here. So finish what you start. Do what you know you got to do. You got to make sure that you've bought in. to that dream, to that goal, to that why. And then you got to get buy-in from other people. Who do you got to get buy-in from? If you're married, your spouse better be supporting you. Now, let me tell you, you cannot expect unconditional support. You should expect unconditional love, but not support. Because believe me, if you go for the next year in your EXP pursuit and you make excuses, you're not making the phone calls, you're not really prospecting, you're not following the system, you're not putting in the work. If I was married to you, I'm not supporting you for more than a year of that. I'd be like, hey, look, go find something else to do. Go work, go tear tickets to the movie theater. But you've been talking this big game. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do that. And you're not doing it. Well, you can't get unconditional forever support. You should for the beginning. You got to prove yourself to your loved ones. If you're taking time away from your kids to go build your EXP business, then honor them. But gosh darn it, go succeed. Go be the example. Because they're watching you. They're going to watch you win or they're going to watch you fall down. Don't you? It's not just about you. It's about other people. And by the way, here's another thing. Other people on EXP are watching you. If you succeed, you're going to give them permission to succeed. You're going to give them belief that they can do it. Now, if you're not succeeding, but you're acting like you're working, but you're not really working, you make it look like you're putting on Facebook like you're working and you're telling everybody you're working, but you're actually playing Candy Crush, you're goofing around, watching Netflix or whatever the case is, hanging out, going fishing or golfing. Guess what? You're telling a false narrative. You're robbing other people from their chance to succeed because they look at you and they go, oh my gosh, if she is working that hard and not doing that well in this business, then I don't even have a fighting chance. Little do they know that you're putting up the facade, acting like you're doing all the work and you're really not. So that's not fair to those people that are watching you. Tell the truth. If you're not working, and that's why you're not getting the success, let people know so that you don't steal from them. Now, if you are working it diligently, then, and you're not succeeding, it's not succeeding yet. You're a seed under the soil. The germination is happening. It still needs more sun and rain, but that you're going to pop through the soil. They're going to see you sprout. They're going to see you blossom. And there is no testimony without a test. Some of you are being tested right now. You know, it's not inspiring. Let me just tell you, it's not inspiring when somebody gets into EXP and they just rocket right to the top. They just crush it from day one. Who does that inspire? It doesn't inspire really anybody. People are like, oh, well, good for you. Happy for you. Enjoy your Ferrari. Enjoy your island. You know what inspires people? The story of, hey, I got into EXP. For 16 months, I was trying to figure it out. I was learning, not really getting any traction. And all of a sudden it clicked and I brought on a really great recruit. And then all of a sudden things started to happen. And here it is. I'm 3 years in now and I'm making 200 grand a year. That's a story where like, oh my gosh, because 95% of the people are in the struggle bus. And when your story gets those 95%ers to say, I believe I can do this because of what you did, now you're leading by a great example. Now, here's the thing, set goals. My billionaire mentor had a training program that he authored that sold over $2 billion worth. That program was on goal setting. And when I talk to people about goals, you know what? Their eyes glaze over. If I just started reaching out to some of you like Lisa or Matthew or Scott or Wendy, I say, hey, let's talk goals. Nobody likes talking goals. Matter of fact, they don't want to talk about it publicly. They don't want to post their goals. Very few. There are some audacious people that will, but most people don't. Why? Because if you tell the world what you're going to go do, now you have to go do it. Or you're going to have egg in your face and nobody wants to embarrass themselves. You know, here's what goals need to be. And you might want to write this down. This is super important because if you don't have all these attributes to your goals, then your goals are not going to move you. The proper goals will move mountains for you. They need to be written and they need to be specific. Writing them down is everything. Specific. Can't be like, I just want to get wealthy. No, that's not, you know, it needs specifics. My goal is to be making $30,000 a month. in rev share. Okay, whatever the goal is. So written specific, it needs to have a time frame attached to it, a deadline. Like I want to be making that by the end of October, or by the next EXP convention, or maybe it's by the end of 2022. Whatever your goal is, written, specific, needs to be a deadline attached. It needs to be worthwhile. Like your goal, if it's going to motivate you, it needs to be like, well, if I achieve it, it's a great thing. If your goal is, hey, I just want to make an extra $1,000 a month in EXP. Well, I mean, you can slip up and do that. So if you hit the goal and you're still bummed out because it wasn't much, then you didn't set the right goal. And then you know what the other part of the attribute is? It needs to be shared. Your goal needs to be shared with other people. That brings in accountability. When you tell people what you're going to go do, now you have to go do it because you opened your mouth. You wrote the check. Now you got to make sure the check is cashable. So make sure you're setting goals. Now I'm actually right now in the middle of a 90-day run. Here's what I would suggest to you. You don't have to work your tail off like a maniac forever, but to get your EXP plane off the runway up to cruising altitude where you can throttle back and go on cruise control for a while and catch your breath, you need to go 100% throttle, full speed ahead to get your plane up off the runway, to clear the trees at the end of it, get up there, and then you can throttle back. You only need to go hard for a short season. I call these 90-day runs. I did a 90-day run 23 years ago when I joined Legal Shield. And I've made $25 million as a result of that initial 90-day run. The momentum that was built and the momentum that has been maintained and grown upon over the years came from that. I'm doing another one right now, all these years later. I am working harder right now than I have in a decade, just for this first quarter of 2022. And the momentum that I am creating from that is going to carry me another 10 or 20 years. So make a decision to find a 90-day window, or heck, a 60-day window, and just sprint, full tilt. Push other things in your life out of the way. Maybe you work out at the gym a little less. Maybe you're hanging out with the family a little bit less. You turn off the TV for that window of time. You just give really concerted, all-out focus on your business and watch what happens for you. Now, time management is huge. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. I'm going to get into some stuff that's going to help you guys with some tactics on your EXP business. But time management is everything. Why is it that some people get so much done in a day? They're so productive and other people don't. Well, some people just don't manage their time well. And I did a whole training course called Time Masters that people can learn how to be better at being more productive with their time. We're not going to get into that here today. Work on your craft. Now, here's the thing. You are in a people attraction business. How big of a real estate agent team do you want to have under you in your rev share team? How many? Well, you've got a craft you've got to figure out. What are you going to say and do and be to get people to want to join your business? Well, your music is so important. How are you sounding? If I called up Matthew Culhane, and let's say he's a real estate agent that I wanted to recruit and be a part of my rev share team, I called him up. I'm like, hey, Matthew, man, just want to see if you might want to, get involved in real estate with me over here, transfer your license, and let's, you want to work together. Maybe we can do some good things together. I mean, is that going to be motivating to him? How is my music sounding? He might ask, so how you doing? Well, I'm hanging in there. I'm working hard. Look, we sell hope and opportunity. Your music, you got 15, 20 seconds before somebody decides to turn you up or turn you off. How are you coming across? You're the most exciting person wins. Now, you might all say that you're excited. How many of you right now, just say I in the chat if you're excited. Just say I. If you're excited about your EXP business, just tell me. The challenge is, as I'm looking at some of y'all, you don't seem very excited. So you're not exciting me. You're all like, I got to take another freaking note right now. Come on, Brian. I mean, some of you are like bored to tears right now. I know you're checking emails. You know, there's a difference between being excited and being exciting. Your ability to excite others means you're exciting. So get your music so passionate and fired up about EXP that you're contagious and you get other people so excited to come be a part of what you're doing with you. How do you do that? Be interested versus being interesting. That's the opposite. I told you to be exciting, not just excited. But I'm telling you, don't just try to be interesting, be interested in other people. How do you do that? How do you do that? Well, you want to be vulnerable. You want to tell people your story. What was wrong in your life? And how is EXP solving for that? You guys? What does Tony Robbins do to get everybody in the auditorium or the arena when he's speaking to get everybody to kind of snap into shape? Well, nowadays he uses F-bombs. He uses bad language, again, shocks everybody like, whoa, they snap out of their daydream. What did he just say? So I'm not going to drop an F-bomb on you. I'm just kind of clapping. I want you all to pay attention to what I'm sharing with you right now. This right here, this is gold. This is gold. Your goal is to get the other agents that you want to recruit into EXP to say, me too. So for example, let's say I go to Wendy Howell. Well, let's say Wendy is a really great agent. I would love to have her on my team. If I go to Wendy and I say, Wendy, look, you need to join EXP because the traditional brokerage that you're at right now is a doomed model. It sucks. You're on a never-ending treadmill. You're never going to be able to stop selling houses because otherwise your income is going to stop. You know, you're just in a bad. I mean, look at how much you're working. You're only getting paid when you're selling houses. You must be depressed. Aren't you anxious all the time? How can you stay at that company? I mean, if I say that to her, guess what she's going to do? If she hasn't already hung up on me, she's now hating me. She wants nothing to do with me. I might be saying things that she might actually think are true, but nobody wants to be criticized by other people. But that's what a lot of EXP agents try to do, is they try to put others down. Hey, let me make you feel bad, and then you're going to want to come join me and my team and work with me. There's just zero chance for that working. But here's what I would do instead. Hey, Wendy, can I have just a couple minutes so I can tell you my story? And she's like, yeah, what do you mean? Sure. Tell me, what's your story? Well, you know, I've been in real estate for years now, and I find myself literally working 7 days a week, 8 to faint, on a perpetual never-ending grind. Because as you know, in real estate, it's first and 10. Every time I do a deal, it's first and 10 until my next deal closes. I'm unemployed between sales. You know how it works. You know how the grind works, right? Well, look, I've got 3 boys. And I'm working so much, I'm missing them. I'm missing them growing up. I'm missing some recitals. I'm missing some ball games. I'm staring at my ceiling sometimes at night, like really like frustrated and almost moving myself to tears thinking about it. And there's got to be a better way. Have you ever felt like that, Wendy? Have you ever felt like you're working so hard in your real estate career that you're missing out on stuff as well? And she shakes her head. She's like, yeah, I feel you. You want her to be thinking or saying, yeah, I feel you, brother. Me too. I'm in the same boat as you. As soon as I get that, yeah, I feel you, then I say, well, I decided I had to make a change. I was not going to keep on living like this. And I did some exploration and I found a better model because I want to be able to make a lot of money in real estate, but I also want to be able to actually have money coming in when I'm not the only one having to do all the work. I want to be able to still keep getting paid when I'm at my son's ball game, or when I'm on a vacation with my spouse. And so I found a better model and I've employed it, and I am so freaking pumped about the future. Would you want to see the solution that I found? Now, how would she say no? I said, here's my problem in my life. Can you relate? She says, I got the same problem. Hey, I found a solution. I've never been this excited about my future before. Would you want to see my solution that I found? Nope. I want to stay frustrated like I have been. No. She's going to want to see the solution. I didn't attack her. I attacked me. I said, here's what my struggles were like. Here's why I found myself tearing up at night, frustrated with my situation. She says, I feel the same way. I say, I found a solution. She's not going to say, no, but don't show it to me, Brian. I want to always feel this way. Can you guys get more vulnerable? Here's the problem with real estate agents. Here's the problem with real estate agents. You have been taught that you need to pound your chest like you are the best agent in the marketplace, because if not, the buyers or sellers are going to go choose to do business with somebody else who is the best. So you always are putting up that facade like, I am the end all be all. I've got no problems. I am the best, right? Well, that's okay if you want to put that out to the buyer and seller marketplace. But if you're trying to recruit agents, that's not going to work. It's the reverse psychology of it, where you've got to get them to realize what's wrong in their life because you showed them what was wrong in your life and how you found a solution. Guys, ask the right questions. Let them recruit themselves. People are all tuned into their own favorite radio station, WIIFM, which stands for What's in It for Me. Some people actually say it. This blows my mind. I have actually heard agents say, come join my team so I can earn rev share off of you. As obnoxious as that is, like, how would anybody in their right mind ever say anything like that? People say it. Hey, I want you on my team. I want you to be a pawn in my game. That's what you're saying. Come join my team. Be an agent on my team. How does that make them feel? It makes them feel like you're using them. So frame you pick your language properly. If it's about your team, just change my to our. I want you to be a part of our team. Just change out my and our. That's going to be huge. But ask people the right questions. What do you like most about real estate? I hope you guys are writing this stuff down. I'm trying to make you guys millions of dollars. What do you like most about your real estate career? What do you like least about it? Write down their answers. I like this, 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 and this. What do I like least? I don't like this, 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 and this. And now you're going to craft or frame the EXP opportunity to say, what if these things that you like were all present, and these things that you don't like are not present in EXP? How amazing would it be for them to tell you what they like, what they don't like, and you could show them how EXP perfectly fits what they would prefer. Now, here's the key. Here's the key. The agents that you're trying to recruit are judging you. They're looking at you. They're like, why would I want to join you? What value are you going to bring to me? Now, if you're recruiting a dud who's never really sold anything, and I'm not saying they're a dud as a human being. I'm just saying that they're just not a producing, real estate agent at this point. Them judging you is not as important. But if you want, how many of you want to recruit active, productive realtors? I mean, those are the people you want on your team, right? So how do you get those people? They're judging you. They're looking at the car you drive. They're asking you, how much volume are you doing per year? How many people are on your team that are winning right now? And if you can't answer all those questions with, I'm doing $50 million in sales, I got 10 people on my team that are making 200 grand a year in income. I mean, if you can't have all these amazing results yet, then you got the ultimate catch-22, then you're dead. You're dead in the water. You can't recruit anybody if it's all about you and the lack of results the results that you don't have. That's why the great equalizer is this right here, third party. You don't want to explain the EXP model. Let somebody else explain the model. All you did was you're vulnerable. You shared your story. You got the me too. You asked a couple of good questions, find out what they like and what they don't like about real estate. And then you get them to hear somebody else. It could be Brian Colhane. It could be Hoss Pratt. It could be somebody who's really successful in EXP that has the credibility, because guess what? You edify. You edify the expert. You speak so well. Let's say I'm going to use my good friend, Brian Colhane. So let's say I'm an agent with Brian Colhane's group, and I'm trying to recruit Lisa Reyes. I do my story. She's like, I feel you, brother. I'm feeling the same way. I ask her, hey, what do you like about your real estate career? What do you like least about it? She gives me those answers. I say, hey, look, you know what? I want you to meet somebody who's really changing my life for me, getting me more time freedom for my wife and my 3 boys that I've been missing out on. Let me tell you about this gentleman. He's not only wildly successful, personally in real estate, he's one of the best, but he's also one of the best mentors. He has helped so many people make more money with less effort in real estate than anybody I've ever met. If I can get just a couple minutes of his time, I would love to connect you, because he might be able to share some insights that can impact you in such a profound way. You edify somebody else in your upline. Let them tell their story about EXP. Let them invite them to check out a presentation either that they're giving or a company video that explains the model or whatever you're going to do the presentation. But if you get really great at piquing their interest with your story and then edifying somebody else, when you edify, you give that person credibility and influence. So by me edifying Brian Colhane, guess what? They don't know who Brian is. They're not in EXP. They don't know who he is, but I gave him the edification. So he now has credibility and influence over Lisa. And now when Lisa listens to Brian, and I've made him sound like he walks on water and glows in the dark, she's listening to every word that comes out of Brian's mouth. And when he says, hey, you should go take a look at this presentation on EXP, she's going to listen to him and say, okay, yes, sir, I will do that. And when she does it, she heard from a third-party credible source. She saw a third-party amazing presentation, and then they're going to get back on a 3-way call, and Brian Colhane, or maybe it's a different upline expert that's going to answer her questions and help her move toward a decision to joining EXP. That is, I'm telling this slide right here, you can take a picture of it. This slide right here has made people, I've taught this to people in my team in Legal Shield. I've taught it all over EXP. I've taught it in hundreds of different network marketing organizations. This is the stuff that works. All right, 3, 2, 1. All right. Now, let me wrap up here. We're getting long in the tooth here on our time today. And look, some of you guys already watched my friend Hoss Pratt, who I was not in there, but whatever he said, I hope that you guys grab a hold of that and use it, because the guy is a master. I mean, you want to learn how to be a listing boss. I mean, he's the guy. I don't want you guys to be stuck in the classroom all day long. You need to get out of here and get on the phone and go build your business, but make sure that you're system driven. In my book, Building an Empire, which I know Matthew talked about this, Brian's been using this book and sending it out to all of his frontline, team builders. This book, it's so cool when I get text messages from friends of mine in EXP that are at EXPCon, and a Jay Kinder or a Mike Reese or a Dan Beer or Brian or somebody's actually referencing it or actually bringing it. Jay Kinder brought it to a convention, was holding it on stage. It's so cool that this is not just what I did. I wrote everything down that I used and did to build a team of 400,000 people, but it's all in a book. So if you want to learn this stuff, it's all right here, right? You got to be system driven. So it's not about you. The system is the most important thing. How many 3-way calls can you do each day? Now, in my business, it's a lot easier to find prospects because you're not just tied into just a specific niche or an audience of real estate licensees. Okay, I can recruit anybody into my business. So you're probably not going to be doing multiple 3-way calls every single day with agents that you're trying to recruit into EXP. But figure out what your cadence is. And what is your KPI, your key performance indicator? Maybe how many 3-way calls can you get a real estate agent on with your upline mentor in EXP? Maybe it's 1 a day, or maybe it's 2 a week, or whatever, however many that you want to be prospecting. You figure that out. And you're going to be using your upline to do your 3-way calls with the agents that you're trying to recruit. And check this out, you're teaching your team to use you as their edified upline expert to talk to their agents that they're trying to recruit. Your upline is going to help you recruit your prospects, and you're going to help your team recruit their prospects. Make sure you're always promoting and using events. check this out. How many of you wish that you had more agents on your team and that they were on here listening to me right now? Would that grow your business? That's what I did. When I first got into my business 23 years ago, I was green. I was brand new. So what did I learn? Promoting is the #1 highest paying skill in our marketing business model. So I just found who are the top earners, who are the best trainers, and anybody that I brought onto my team, I promoted for them to go learn from those people. I wanted my team to not learn from me because I didn't know squat. I could teach them how to do nothing, but I just got them into the business and I got them to go listen to the best of the best. And those people trained my team.
Hey, Brian, real quick, let me ask you a question. What would you say to some of the people out there who, maybe they come to every training we do, every session, but they don't share any of the graphics out, they don't invite a single person, what would you tell those people?
I would ask, why not? Do you feel like, because here's the thing, maybe it's just mental programming where you feel like you don't want to share anything because you don't want to give away the secrets. A traditional real estate agent never wants to share how they're doing really well, because if they share with other people, then they're going to lose market share to those agents they just gave away their secret sauce to. The difference with EXP is you want to share it with your downline team members because you make more. The more money they make, the more money you make. So that's a really big thing. I'm glad you asked that question because there's a lot of people, their mental programming is stopping them from doing what is the most important thing that they should be doing. So, and by the way, let me share this with you guys. I got a text message from somebody on my team today. I want to read it to you real fast. This is really cool. She actually sends me this text message showing that she's listening to Building an Empire on audiobook. Well, she's a massage therapist. I met her because she came to my house 3 years ago, just before COVID, and she gave some in-home massages to my wife and I. She came twice, and then COVID hit, and we stopped using her. We just haven't been doing the massage thing for a while. And she sends me this message. She says, rereading Building an Empire while driving to my clients' homes. Let's go. And I said, awesome. That book will cut down your learning curve by years. And she says, I feel like you're sitting in my passenger seat with me. Win-win. Look, guys, just be willing to be coachable. Be willing to lean in and learn. But don't get stuck in the classroom. Now, don't just always be attending all the trainings and not applying. Like, fit it in. You always want to be a forever student, but don't be a professional student that's not applying the stuff that you're supposed to be learning. And I did something for Brian. Look, Brian and I, we're like kindred spirits. I love Brian. Brian Colhane. We're both BC. Brian Carruthers, Brian Colhane. So he calls me BC. He's BC. We're both BCs, and it's funny. But anyway, I didn't even tell him I was going to do this, but I decided I got this code created for you all this morning. I want you all to learn from the stuff that I put out there. The Building an Empire book is, I think, 16 or 17 bucks. Money mindset on how to not only keep the money that you're making, paying the least amount of taxes, but how to invest your money wisely. I mean, my net worth is far higher than my cumulative lifetime earnings. How is that? That's even after paying the tax bracket. I'm almost with Virginia state tax and Fed income tax. I'm paying roughly 50% taxes every year, but still my net worth is way higher than my cumulative earnings. So how do you do that? I wrote a book about it. A lot of people have been benefiting from that. Untapped, I talked to you guys about that. And by the way, I'm going to tell you about Untapped real quick. One of the chapters in this book discusses EXP. So if you have not read the book, you're like, oh, really? If you give other agents that you want to recruit this book and they read it and it explains to them why they need passive cash flow to get time freedom. And I explained in there my background in real estate. If I didn't sell a house, I didn't get paid. That's how these other agents are living. And I explained to them the real estate brokerage model where they can recruit other people to sell houses for them. But there's a brokerage out there called EXP where you don't have to be the founder of the brokerage. You don't have to take on all that risk and capital expenditure. And you can actually go out and build your own brokerage within EXP using the model. And I explained the whole model. If you want to recruit people, let this book do the work for you. It's a $12 book. Okay, that's also included in this bundle. And also my little booklet, Making My First 10 Million. It's $45 for all 4 of these books. If you go to briancarruthers.com today, I'm just going to make this available for today. Go use the code, the number 4 bundle, and you'll get it for $20 for all of them. Less than half price. That's just a favor for you guys, because I'm a friend of Brian's and I'm a big shareholder in EXP. So I want you all to do really, really, really well. I want you to recruit a massive team because I want my stock to triple. Okay. So go do that today. Make sure you guys do that. Now, believe bigger, faster. People say, Brian, can you give me like, what is some like parting advice that will help me to really become very, very successful? Believe bigger, faster. Some of you are struggling right now with your belief that you can achieve really big results in EXP. And I don't blame you, because if you've been in EXP for a while and you've not recruited a bunch of people and your rev share check doesn't exist, or it's really small, then it's hard to believe that you're going to build something big. When you first looked at EXP, it all said, oh my gosh, everybody's going to join me. We're going to get rich overnight. It doesn't work like that. So believe bigger, faster, like immediately work on your belief. I'm telling you, borrow my belief until you believe it yourself. Borrow my courage until you feel your own courage. You've got, I mean, how many of you by a show of hands have access to amazing upline leaders like Brian Colhane to help you? If you have people like that, then you have no excuse. Because like I told you today, it's not even about you. You're just a carrier pigeon. You're just a traffic cop. You're pointing people to go talk to Brian, go talk to Haas, go talk to whoever. That's the key. And no dream is too big. I mean, look, if you follow Grant Cardone, which I imagine all of you do by now, he shows you, he's the epitome of it. There is no dream that's too big. And anybody who laughs at your dreams, that's just fuel to your fire to go out and prove to them that they're small thinkers. Don't let anybody else's lack of vision cause you to shrink down the dream that you have in your mind. If you keep giving priority to a paycheck, you're never going to build wealth and freedom. What do I mean by that? If you keep on focusing on your next real estate closing, all you care about is your next personal commission dollar, then you're never going to get free from that. And in 20, 30 years from now, you're going to have to keep selling houses. If you love doing it, that's great. 20 years from now, you're not going to love it the way you love it now. It's going to get old at some point. The rev share model is the key to freedom. Be willing to lose money to get wealthy. What do I mean by that? Be willing to focus more time on recruiting more agents to your team than just chasing the next commission check. It's just, you have to buy into that. One last thing. I want everybody to go get the bundle of 4 books that you're going to personally read. I actually did this for somebody else. So Brian, if you watch this later on, this is not just for you. Actually, Tony, who is I guess the RVP or whatever, I don't know what they call him, oversees the growth of the whole region down in Texas for EXP, Mr. King. I think it's Tony King. I did a big Verbella presentation training about a month ago and had 500, 600 people in there. It was really fun. I told everybody I did this for them that day. I'm going to do it for you guys today as well. This $12 book, I don't expect that you're going to buy a bunch of $12 books to go give away to agents you're trying to recruit, even though that would still be a smart investment. I'm giving you the chance to buy these today for $3, meaning I'm not making any money on this book. With the printing cost and the warehousing cost of it and to ship it out or get it shipped from the printer to the warehouse, my warehouse, guess what? And the fulfillment is I'm losing money at $3 a piece. Use the code Untapped3 on untrappedbook.com and buy as many as you want today for $3. Otherwise, they're $12 a piece. So you know what? We sold thousands of books that day. People were ordering 25, 50, 100 books to be able to go out and send these out to every real estate agent in the Rolodex. Every time they went to networking events and met a real estate agent, went out to the car to get one of these books, just make sure you put your name and your information inside the back cover so that, because sometimes they might put the book down or they might pick it up later on. They might forget who gave it to them. Make sure your information's in it. So that way you guys can get the conversation to happen and get them to check out EXP when you're done. Now, as we wrap this whole thing up, guys, let me just go ahead and stop the screen share and just tell you this. I believe that the biggest earners in EXP have not even been recruited yet. There are people that are not even in the company yet. They're going to be making 7 figures a month when they get a hold of this, model. How awesome would it be if that person shows up on your 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th level? How cool is that? I mean, of course, it'd be great that you recruit them, but that's not likely. You never know. All the biggest earners on my team, I didn't personally recruit them. They just showed up. Somebody brought them to the table. Somebody edified. Maybe I was the upline expert, or somebody else was the upline expert, and they did a third-party deal, and they got recruited. Some of them are way deep in my organization, but I still benefit. So I want you guys to just make the decision today. Again, decide that you're going to build a large rev share team. And every single day, including Saturday and Sunday, be reaching out to new prospects or make follow-up calls to existing prospects to move those conversations along, because recruiting is a conversation. It starts when you meet them and pique their interest, and it doesn't end when you sign them up. It doesn't end when they're now in EXP, because they can leave EXP months later if you think you're done recruiting them. You're not done recruiting somebody until they're making a full-time living in EXP. You pique their interest, you move them along through the evaluation process, they see a presentation, they get some answers to their questions, they finally move their license over, but you keep recruiting them, keep selling them on EXP, keep sharing the amazing success stories over and over and over again until they're making 6 or 7 figures in EXP. At that point, your recruiting process is complete. Hey, Matthew, I hope I gave everybody on here. I didn't realize I was planning on going about a half an hour, 45 minutes. I guess I entertain myself so much. We just finished up a whole hour. Hope you guys got some value here today. I really hope that you all make the decision today to take some of the information. And what I would say, go back through your notes and find, this is important, find 1 or 2 things that you can implement immediately in your business. Maybe it's crafting your story. Maybe it's you sitting down with a pad and pen and just writing down what was wrong in my life, how I was operating in my real estate career, and what was wrong in my life because of it. So that way you can learn to share that story, because you only get a couple minutes to share your story before somebody vibes with you or they don't. Work on crafting your story. Go out and get some opportunities today. Call up a couple of real estate agents that you would love to have on your team and say, hey, Ricky, or hey, Jenny, or hey, Charles. Can I tell you my story? They're always going to say, nope, I don't want to hear your story. They're not going to be rude. They're going to say, sure, what do you mean? What are you talking about? What's your story? So when you call Hector and say, hey, Hector, can I tell you my story? And he says, yes. Tell him something that moves him. Get him to feel for you. Get him to feel for himself because he's feeling for you. Do that today with a couple people, and you actually just did some IPA, some income producing activity that's going to change the game for you. All right, Matthew, I appreciate the opportunity to jump on here. I'll let you go ahead and wrap it all up. It was a good time.
Man, thank you so much, Brian. We really appreciate you coming out here. Everyone flip on your mic and just say thanks to Brian. I mean, that was such an amazing session.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much again, Brian.
Thank you so much, Brian.
The time.
Thank you, Matthew, for putting this
Thank
together.
you so much, Brian. That was an awesome
Thank
session.
you guys for showing up, and like Brian said, it's not just about coming to the thing. Yes, don't be stuck in the classrooms, but you got to invite, you got to get people into these things, let them know who your organization is, who edify your people, and in turn that'll help grow your organization.
I've given Matthew the permission to go ahead and record this, so you guys can repurpose it. If you have people on your team that wish they could be here but they had appointments, grab the replay as soon as it's available. Let them see it. Hopefully they can see it in the next 24 hours. Let them use a discount code, get my books. Let me be a foster mentor for you. If they read my book and they go succeed in legal shield, and they go succeed in EXP, guess what? It's gonna benefit your business. So that's the key, guys, is make sure you go seek out the information and lead your team to the same source of information you're getting from. All right, have a good day, guys. I got to run to another appointment.
Thank you, Brian.